Let's go.
It's finally here, Dub. It's finally here. I feel like a kid waiting on Christmas night. You know, Christmas Eve night, I got my jammies on. I got my new socks on. I'm tucked in, mentholated them on just so I don't get sick. And I'm waiting on Santa to come and leave some cookies and some milk and leave me a new Xbox 360. That's how I feel right now, waiting on the college football playoff. It's finally here. We got the matchups. We still got Florida State fans that's mad. But listen, they're going to get whooped by Georgia this weekend, and it'll be all good. First matchup, Michigan versus Alabama. Let me say, there's a lot of controversy that comes with this matchup. Alabama somehow pulled off the upset, knocked out Georgia in the SEC championship to get here. Michigan has been through every hoop and woe you can go through in a season. Harbaugh was suspended at the beginning of the season. They somehow still won their games. Harbaugh gets suspended at the end of the season. They somehow still win all their games. And here they are, and they get the short end of the stick because they got to play Alabama. And who wants to play Alabama in the college football playoff? Nobody. As good as Michigan is, as much as I would ride with Michigan, as much as I would say Michigan should be in the national championship, and they're a good football team, and this is going to be the year they do it. The better half of me, the half of me that's bet against Alabama in the past, is picked against Alabama in the past, and Nick Saban in these types of situations says, you know what? It's not going to happen. The way that it was written is that Alabama lost to Texas at the beginning of the season, and they're going to get their rematch. Alabama's going to get another shot at the Longhorns because they are going to beat on Michigan on Monday. It's no question about it. This Alabama defense hasn't been what it's been in past years. Just looking at the numbers, looking at the names. But as a collective, this unit is solid. Jalen Milroe pulled it together later in the season. They figured out how to play to his strengths and not try to force him to fit into the offense they wanted. And the bottom line is, I wouldn't want to have to play Nick Saban at Alabama, especially when they've had rest, especially when they've had time to watch film and prepare. I like Harbaugh. I like Michigan. I would love to see them play in the national championship, but I just can't go against Nick Saban and what he's built at Alabama is a machine. I think Alabama wins a close football game against this Michigan Wolverine team. What's your thoughts on it, Dub?
I echo your sentiments. I do foresee Alabama winning this game, even though I wasn't a fan of them getting into the playoffs. It's a whole different story for a different day. Nonetheless, what you just said checks the box. But here's another twist that I'm going to throw in there about Alabama. I think that if Alabama wins the national championship this year, which they probably will, Nick Saban will retire. I think Nick Saban is done with college football. This is by far the best coaching job that he's done since he's been at Alabama. This is the best coaching job, in my opinion, that he has done at Alabama. The talent is not as high as it has been, just due to the whole NIL thing, the portal and such. So he's not. I mean, he's getting top tier talent, but it's not. It's being distributed evenly now to other top schools. So Alabama is just not this whole like melting pot full of 5 and 4-star athletes. It's just not happening anymore. So with that being said, I think it's getting harder for him to truly have impact from like a competition level because this man truly has to coach. So he's not being as dominant as he has previously been. And then on top of that too, man, this dude has so many car dealerships in the Alabama area, man. Like, he has a Ferrari dealership. You know the type of credentials you have to have a Ferrari dealership, man. That means you are selling some cars, man. So he's probably going to invest all his time into that. He's in his late 60s. He might be in his early 70s. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I think Nick Saban is done after the season if they win a national championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great take. I say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think we got a few more years of seeing Nick Saban at Alabama. Somehow they just are always in the mix. I don't even remember Alabama being a dominant football team when I was young. I mean, it was like you got the Floridas, Sometimes it's Florida State with the
Always LSU.
Peter Warwick and Bobby Bowden teams. You got LSU. Even sometimes Ohio State, Miami, Michigan, the usual suspects. Alabama wasn't really in the mix, but for the last 10 to 15, man, it's been all Nick Saban and all Alabama in some shape, form, or fashion. So if I were him, I don't know that I want to get it up. You go to the NFL, you can't coach the same. You can't really pull a Sean Payton and talk to the players crazy and they go for it. Heck, you can't really do that in college now because they're making money through the NIL, so it's getting harder to coach them. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. They got a big matchup with Michigan. We saying that Alabama going to win that game, but Michigan has a lot to say about that come Monday at 5 p.m. So listen, drop your thoughts about the game in the comments below. If you're a Michigan fan, let us know how y'all going to pull off the win. What are the keys to victory for y'all? As always, give us that CLS treatment, comment, like, subscribe. We'll be back with more from you in the arena.